All right. 6.4. This one is funky. Funky. This one's going to be fun too. Fun. All right. So let's have some fun. Let's start here. Match the equation with the correct shape. Okay. Y equals 2. Now we know that the slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay. So, oh, we have the y, we have the equals, and then we have a 2. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So y equals 2 over 1 plus 0. 0. See, look, there's nothing there, so we have to add in the 0. But better yet, it's telling us that y equals 2. All right. So if y equals 2, then on the y axis, this is y, this is x. On the y axis, the up and down here, we're just going to find something that's like this is 0, this will be 1, this will be 2, and it's going to be straight across. So I'm looking at these three, A, B, and C, and it's going to be C. It's just going to be straight across. Okay, so let's go to the next one, okay? Y equals negative 3x plus 1. Well, there's a negative sign here. That's actually negative 3 over 1, which means it's going to go down 3. That's what the negative sign means. And to the right, 1. Well, I'm looking at A, I'm looking at B. I already answered C, so it's between A and B. B is the only one that's going down. So we can use deductive reasoning and figure that out. All right. But let's be sure. Let's be sure. Well, this doesn't have a grid, so we don't know where the y-intercept is. Could be here, could be here. We don't know. But we know it's negative. So we'll go with that. So now I have number 3, and you're saying, well, it has to be A. It could be A. Right? So let's put A there for just a second, okay? Y equals 3x minus 1. Well, since there's no grid here, we don't know where this minus 1 is. We don't know where that is. We simply don't. And it's 3 over 1. That means it's going up. So this is going up. B is going down, so it can't be going down. C is just a horizontal line. So the answers we have the answers, and the answers are C, B, and A. All right. I erase B. Good. So we have the answers for those. Okay. Number 4. So number 4 tells us that, remember, slanted lines have both in their equations. Slanted lines have and y in their equations. Well, it's going to have a x and a y. All right. So a slanted line is going to have an x and a y. A positive slant or a negative slant. They're both going to have x and y. So we can have x and y. If you're doing it in Spanish, X, E, E. All right. So you have that. You have that. Okay. So horizontal lines. Now, what's a horizontal line look like? Horizontal line is just straight across. All right. So it's at 0, straight across. So there's no X. So it has only the y in the equation, and we use hoy, Hoy. In Spanish, they would say hoy, and they would say that means the word day, but we're not talking about that. Okay. So horizontal lines only have y in their equations, and we use hoy to remember information about horizontal lines. So hoy is Hoy. Now, what does the Hoy mean? Hopefully you figured out what the Hoy means in terms of Hoyt when we talk about algebra and the slope and slope and lines. But we also have Vux. So we talked about Hoy. Hopefully you remembered what it stood for. Well, let's talk about Vux very quickly. Vux. All right. So this is vertical. Why do we say vertical? Because a line is going to go up and down. It's going to be a straight up and down line. That's a vertical. Okay. Okay. All right. So V is for vertical. And what's the U for? What's the U for? That's for undefined. Okay. So straight up and down is a vertical line. It's a undefined slope. And what axis do we deal with? It's going to be on the x-axis. And the x-axis, if we look at this here, then let's look at this graph, okay? So we have the x-axis right here. This is the x-axis. So a vertical line is going to be straight up and down on the x-axis. So it might start here and go here, all right? It might be here. Could be in between numbers, right? Could be over here. But it only has a x-axis. Here's the x-axis. Here's the x-axis. So there we go with that. So let's do this. Let's answer 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be a 4 there. Graph the vertical line through 2, 3. Well, remember, x and y. The x is left and right, and the y is up or down. Okay, so if it says -2, 3, then I want to start at my point of origin and I want to go over -2, 1, 2. Then I want to go up 3 because it says up 3, 1, 2, 3. So my point is going to be right here. That's where my point's going to be, right there. Okay, good. All right. Now, the question is number 3, what is the x coordinate? Oh, I didn't finish number 2. Graph the vertical line through the point. Okay, so now I need to graph a vertical line through this point. So here's that vertical line. Here's that vertical line. Okay, you know what? Let's make it a little thicker just so everybody can see it. Here's that vertical line right through 2, 3. Okay, and the question is, what is the x coordinate of every point on the line? Well, the x coordinate is right here, -2, oh, -2, -2, -2, even down here, -2. The x is -2, -2. This would be -2, -2. This would be -2, comma, -3. This would be -2, comma, 2. This would be -2, comma, 3. So the x coordinate on every point on this line is going to be -2. I'm still going to put the coordinate, the ordered pairs format. Therefore, the equation of the line, what type of line is it? The equation, okay, that is x equals -2. All right. And the slope of every vertical line. Now, look, vertical line. What is the slope of a vertical line? The slope of a vertical line. Yep, you guessed it. You guessed it. Undefined. So, hopefully you answered all of those correctly. Hopefully you answered all of those correctly. So, let's do this. Graph the line x equals 2. So, here is the x line. Here's my point of origin, 1, 2. All right, so it says graph the line. So it's going to be a line. It's going to go through this point. All right, boom, boom. Ooh, my line is a little sloppy. All right, but you see what I'm doing, right? It's really just right here. It's just right there. Yep, right there. Okay, good. Now, I'd graph the line, check. Give the slope. Well, the slope is straight up and down. So the slope is going to be what? Undefined. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. And where is the y-intercept? Where is the y-intercept? Well, here's a good question because this is the y-axis. Does this line, the red line, cross the y-axis at all? No. So we're going to go here and we're going to say none, like none your business or none of your business. There is no y-axis. No y-intercept. There is no y-intercept. So the answer is going to be none. Okay. So this type of question is really a trick question. So keep in mind, y equals 2x, y equals 2, y equals -2, y equals -2x, and x equals 2. If you see the slope-intercept form, we know what that means. The m is the slope and b is the intercept. If all you see is y equals, if it's y equals, it's going to be a horizontal line. Remember Hoy? If you see x equals, it's going to be a vertical line. Remember Vux? So it's your cheat sheet. Write this down. Write this down. This is going to help you. Okay, so y equals 2x. Now we have the y equals mx plus b format. So there's really a 0 here, and there's really a 1 under this. All right, so let's look at b. Y equals 2. Well, if it's y equals 2, it's just going to be a horizontal line. It's just going to be because it's just the y. Okay? If it's y equals -2, it's just going to be a horizontal line. And it's going to happen at the -2 spot. This is going to happen at the 2 spot. This says y equals -2x. So that means it's missing the 0. Because see, hey, see what's the difference? It has the x. Whenever you see that x, lets you know that it's actually slope-intercept form. And this one says x equals 2. So if it's x only, x equals, then it's straight up and down, vertical. Okay, now let's answer these questions. Which have an undefined slope? Now, a straight up and down, a vertical is undefined. So our answer is E. What's your reason? Verticals are undefined slopes. So you're going to write in here, verticals are undefined slopes. Vertical lines are undefined slopes. Okay. Which have no y-intercept? Which has no y-intercept? Okay. Which of these are not going to cross y? The only one that's not going to cross the y line would be this one. That's the only one that's not going to cross it. How do I know, Mr. Varner, how do you know? Because if we had a graph, this was 1, this was 2, this was 3, x equals 2 would be right here on the 2 line, on the 2 point. Here is the y-axis, the y-intercept. This is the y-axis. So it doesn't cross this line at all. It's all the way over here. So that's how I know. That's how I know that there is no y-intercept with E. All right. Okay. Which graphs as vertical lines? Okay. Which one of these graphs is vertical lines? Well, that's a slope because it has slope. That's vertical. No, that's not vertical. That's horizontal. This is horizontal. This is a slope. This is the only one that has a vertical line because vertical lines are undefined slopes. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. It's the same thing. Okay? Good, good. So now let's do number 10. You see how easy these are once you do the early work of writing up here, just writing your notes and putting your little cheat sheet here? Which are slanted lines? Well, this has a slope. This one has a slope. So I can say A. Is there another slope? No, that's a horizontal line. This is a horizontal line. D is a slanted line or a slope. And E, that's a vertical line. Okay. Okay. And which have a slope of 2? This has a slope of 2. This is no slope. No slope. This has a slope of -2. So the only one that really has a slope of 2 would be A. Okay. And that's how we answer those problems. And to end my support, you can work out the rest of them. I'm not going to answer all of these for you. So that's y equals 2x. Now, that means that it's missing the b. So we're going to add in our b, 0, and we're going to give it its own slope. This just says y equals 2. So we're going to go on the y line, which is the y in the axis, y axis here. And all we're going to do is going to put a point here. This says x equals 2. So x is 2. We're not touching the y. This is the x axis. So x is 2. All right, I'm just putting these little notes for myself. Okay, let's go back to 14. Y equals 2x plus nothing. So, okay, this is my y-intercept. So that means that my y-intercept is going to be right here at 0. Okay. And it's 2 over 1. That means that I'm going up 2 and I'm going over 1. So from here I go up 2, 1, 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Now I can draw my line and everything should be great. That line is not done right. All right, so let me try it again. I'm going to draw the line through here. Make sure I get all the points correct. Yep, that works. All right, so I graphed that line. Good. Now this one says y equals 2. Well, there's no x, so it's just the y. So I'm just going to the y point, and I want to draw a line. I'm drawing a horizontal line. Remember, because HOY, H-O-Y, is just y equals, that means HOY. This one says x equals 2. Now, let's keep that in mind. Vux. If all you see is x equals, then all I need to do is go here and draw my line. Okay? So that's how you answer those. When it says HOY, that's y equals. When it says x equals, it's Vux. Vertical, undefined, x equals. Horizontal, zero slope, y equals. Okay? So to end this for you, sketch a line that has a negative slope. It's going down. Boom. A slope undefined. V, U, X. Okay? Undefined means it's going to be straight up and down. Vertical means it's going to be straight up and down. So all I need to do is do this. I might want to put actually you do want to put, because it asks for a line. All right, so that's it. That's what you do. Okay? So I've helped you with 6.4. Do well.